is downtown Knoxville, Tennessee, the padlocks. That looks kind of familiar. That's circa 2000, y'all, so that is what, 23 years ago? And they were just starting to talk about, hey, we think we've got some ideas for how downtown Knoxville can take off. Just a reminder, right around that time, there were just very few sort of core big businesses. There's the old Mega Mart.
Best wig, they're right there at Jay's Mega Mart.
I don't think it shows J.D. Lee's giant statue.
No, it will.
That's a good look. Anyway, you get an idea. That is kind of what we are talking about. You used to play catch in the middle of Gay Street around 6 o'clock on any given night, and nobody would bother you. So many empty buildings. Rick, I'm curious to hear from you in terms of two things. What do people who live downtown want, and what do businesses that operate downtown want? Because you dealt with both of those groups.
People that live downtown want it to remain vibrant. They love, just all the vibrancy of downtown. They would probably like more retailers down there, but they like that. It's you have the Tennessee Theater, Bijou, all the wonderful events down there, and all the special events we have downtown. I just think they love to be able to walk out and see things and meet each other, have meeting places. They want parking. Parking's always a big deal. Parking's its own.
That has its own life and own problems.
Some 2-hour conversation probably. And as far as businesses go, they just want customer base. They want foot traffic. They want folks to be down there, and we get it. We have that. We have a lot of the foot traffic.
Yeah.
Is it consistently there at 9 or 10 o'clock at night? Probably not yet, like it is some places. But some nights it's very busy downtown. This weekend it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And even this whole week's been crazy because people come into town early for some of these events we have. So
it's a great weekend downtown. So, Rick, we're talking about a lot of things, and so we were talking about the past and the development. What do you think is lacking downtown? What do we need to just take another step forward? Again, living there and working there, I think it's a fabulous place, and it's not too big and not too small, and nearly every amenity that I could want is there. But what do you think we need to sort of take the next step forward, if anything?
We've always said retailers, and I would love to see a few more stores down there, a few more shopping opportunities for folks. We have a Mass General store, yes, and you can buy almost anything in Mass. And we have some others, and we're getting more every day. And it's a tough business, I know.
Well, there's been a fight, I suppose, amongst a lot of the downtown folks, staying away from the big boxes and the overly commercial things. And Knoxville's done a remarkable job with that. And outside the argument of Urban Outfitters, which really doesn't feel like a big box, but one could argue is, and to a lesser degree Mass General, which is a fabulous store. Yeah. We've done that, but are you saying by stores we need a big box presence?
No.
A Kmart or Walmart or?
No, I remember
dating myself with Kmart, I might add.
Well, I remember when Watson's was there, Don.
Watson's.
And Watson's was great on Market Square, and I bought a lot of clothes there, and suits, and shirts and ties,
knives
and it's really kind of hard to find. If you want to buy a tie or a shirt or somewhere downtown, you really.
Well, we miss Drivers and a few of the others that were down there. But
it's tough, in that way, and just trying to find gifts or cards or something like that, just simple things like that.
There's quite a bit of that down there now, but you're suggesting you think
there
we need
is
more.
Yeah, I think so.
What about the argument of grocery stores? Because if I see it, there's a lack. We have a couple of small groceries with limited goods, but what about a Publix or, gosh forbid, even a Whole Foods, or something like a Butler and Bailey out in Rocky Hill that's family owned?
Yeah.
Do you think there's still a real need and a demand for a larger, more complete grocery?
I think there is. I'd like to see like a Trader Joe's or something on that scale, maybe an Aldi even or something up down there. I think that would be very popular. I think there's been some opportunities that developers have not taken on. The old AAA building, for instance, on Central, I think would have been a great Trader Joe's or some kind of a spot with parking there into the interstate. Because you're right about that. A lot of folks downtown go to Publix, they take the trolley or whatever, and they'll go all the way to University Commons for Publix.
We have
downtown. As close as we have. And there are the smaller shops, as you said, Donna. There's some butcher shops and just a couple of smaller ones. So you can generally buy a little of something everywhere, but I do think I'm with you on that. I agree with that.
Eddie?
And you know, Rick, Don talked about what we need to do for the future. I want to kind of go back and look at the past, because you can learn from the past to make sure you don't repeat those in the future. So, you know, going back to 1992, back to 2000, the pictures we just saw, what are some things, you know, that we need to know from someone who was there, that was part of it, to make sure that we don't make the mistakes of past generations that would allow downtown to fall back apart?
Well, just have somebody always thinking about the unintended consequences of these things. You know, give it a real thorough, have a real thorough process as far as thinking about what you're doing. I mean, parking, again, I hate to keep bringing up parking, but you know, we'll start these projects and all of a sudden parking is either not there, you need some sort of special accommodation for parking or something or another. Then you're having to back up and try to fix it after a lot of turmoil. A lot of times it's not easy to fix, and it's maybe impossible to fix. Just things like that. I think you really need to be thinking ahead a little bit. But you have to kind of also know how everything works down there, from garbage collection to, you know, construction to special events. There's a lot to that, you know, that I've always tried to keep in mind of, and I hope that others do that in the future. For these
Plenty to
projects.
work on. All right, it's time for us to take another break. It's Sunday morning, and you're watching Inside Tennessee. We'll be right back.